Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Before we get into the show today, I want to send our thoughts and prayers to the folks in Florida. If you are in a position to help, I've included a few links down in the description for you to help them out. Okay, today on the show, we've got Pharrell auctioning off 2000s nostalgia, a mea culpa for Tom Sachs and Nike, the week's hottest releases, and of course, we have Hard Pass. And you're definitely going to want to stick around for this one this week. All right, let's start the show with some hot takes. The NBA preseason is underway, and there's plenty of things to be happy for. We've got young stars like Zion Williamson and Jamal Murray finally making their return to the court, the Warriors and the Wizards heading to our home away from home, Japan, and LeBron James dressing up in what should be his NBA Street Volume 4 character as he throws one down on center Jay Huff. Seriously, EA Sports, where the hell is Volume 4? We've waited long enough, but maybe the biggest news of the preseason is the cutting of Jimmy Butler's dreads. I was really hoping he'd actually stick with it through the regular season and maybe start a trend where people aren't being shamed for trying new hairstyles. Ooh, wait, if I wanted to try something new, no one could call me out on it. Just accept it and move on. All right, Nike is shutting down 21 Mercer, the iconic New York store that was home to some of the most star-studded and celebrity-filled sneaker parties and launches the world has ever seen. Co-writer and I each have our own stories that we probably can't share from that place, but think about this. If Nike is willing to close their own, quote, mom and pop stores, what hope is there for other retailers? Between Mercer shutting down and the Nike Vault in LA closing a few years back, we're losing our in-person places where we can congregate and make absurd memories that we can never tell anybody. Until I start a Patreon, maybe 10 years from now when I spill all the tea. Stay tuned, kid. I'm just kidding. Don't stay tuned. I would do, maybe. Well, maybe I would. Anyway, Mike Tyson is training in Monarchs, and that's the whole joke. I'm not breaking out any impressions, co-writer. If you want me to, I'm not risking that. He'd kill me. Anyway, shout out to TikTok user Mr. Moore for meeting the kids where they are. He's using sneakers as a platform to teach them about authenticity and accountability in their work. It's very cool, and hopefully more teachers take some notes from Mr. Moore, but why do I get the feeling that this is also the dark origin story of StockX Sneaker Authenticity Vocational School, where you take a 6-month course that includes classes on using sneaker glue smell to determine what factory a pair of Jordans came from? I'm just putting it out there. All right, before we move on to the next segment, we here at Hard Pass just want to pass along a hearty mazel tov to Matt Nieto and Bianca Matanguihan. Apologies if I botched that last name, Bianca. Blame co-writer, aka Matt's uncle. Anyways, Bianca and Matt are now happily engaged. Looking forward to the big day, you two, whenever that is. I mean, I'll be waiting for my invite. Not that I'm anticipating to get one in the mail along with, first class tickets to the Philippines or anything like that. No, won't be waiting for that at all. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm not waiting. Or maybe. So Pharrell, he's launching a new auction platform called Jupiter. I guess StockX or GOAT or Sotheby's was taking too big of a cut of the sale, so he went the bender route and started his own minus the hookers and the blackjack. Whatever. We need more diversity in the space anyways. And if we're going to pick somebody trustworthy to headline it, it might as well be Skateboard P. His first collection, titled Son of a Pharaoh, will include pieces of clothing that he wore in music videos, diamond pieces that he accumulated through the years, one-of-a-kind sneakers, and more stuff that screamed, I was filthy rich in the 2000s, and I made sure everybody knew about it. Co-writer is especially interested in the BlackBerry 8700 encased in yellow gold, and the maybe greatest thing ever made, a gold Sony PlayStation Portable, courtesy of Jacob the Jeweler. According to Jupiter, proceeds will go to Black Ambition, a group that creates space for Black and Latinx entrepreneurs to excel, as well as aiming to close the wealth and opportunity gap that burdens minorities. According to Pharrell, he will be enlisting celebrity friends to auction their own collections in the future. So, in the interest of reliving our teenage dirtbag years, here's a list of 2,000 items that we'd love to see put up for auction. Number 5, Dwayne Wade's personal T-Mobile Sidekick. Every once in a while, co-writer will check on eBay for a complete in-the-box version of the Wade edition of the Sidekick. Maybe Pharrell can give D-Wade a call and sell his actual Sidekick to co-writer so he can finally live out his dreams of using a Sidekick as a belt buckle. Number 4, Ghostface Killah's gold eagle bracelet. Maybe the greatest piece of jewelry tied to hip-hop. News dropped late last year that apparently Ghost teamed up with an art dealer to melt the bracelet and turn it into a coin and NFT. There hasn't been a follow-up because NFTs are more discounted these days than Nike's overstocked inventory, so we're kind of holding out hope that the video is fake and that the bracelet is still whole. Number 3, Beyonce's Nintendo DS. You want to know how much money the DS and the original Wii for Nintendo made? They could afford to put Beyonce in a Rhythm Heaven commercial. I really, really hope that if our queen didn't keep the units for herself, someone at Nintendo has that in a secret vault somewhere, just waiting to be displayed someday. Number 2, a picture of Michael Jordan wearing a Wizards jersey. Because, look, it happened, damn it. We can't allow the erasure of Jordan being on the Wizards to continue. MJ will not silence us. Nike needs to sell a retro Jordan Wizards jersey and make sure that True Blue Copper Retros drops before he finds out. All I'm saying. And then finally, number 1, Mariah Carey's dresses from 2003 NBA All-Star Weekend. Hey, look, we're not going to kink shame co-writer here, all right? That's his thing. That's his thing. Let's move on to the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. If there's a sneaker on here that isn't listed, it's not our fault. You got to blame our sources. First up, we have the undercover Nike Air Force One black, white, and gray fog on the 12th for $165 each. We have the Air Jordan 37 Raptor on the 13th for $185. Billie Eilish Nike Air Force One Sequoia on the 14th for $180. The Reebok Question 97 Lux on the 14th for $160. The Nike Dunk Low Panda restock, obviously, on the 14th for $110. Then the women's Air Jordan 4 Canyon Purple on the 15th for $200. Then, for our pick of the week, it's the Social Status Nike Air Penny 2 on the 13th for $200 each. A rather quick follow-up to the Air Penny 1 collab earlier this year. These remix takes on the OG colorways of the Penny 2. They're a tribute to the good old days in the playground when we all had our toys and friends. It includes a copper-like hang tag of the silhouette because duh, Penny, packaging that's inspired by Penny Hardaway's alter ego, Lil Penny, and a faint peak hue on the airbag to simulate the bubblegum that is a playground staple. Just hope you never step on them and mess up your kicks. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you check out the next part of the short film series that Social Status has been putting out in conjunction with their collabs with Nike. It's fun, it's old school, it's a simpler time, man. It's storytelling in sneakers during an era where dozens of collabs drop each month and nobody knows why they exist other than really capitalism. All right, and now for a heat check on the news that archive colorway of the Tom Sachs Nike General Purpose shoe actually popped up unannounced at select Kohl's stores last week. So a few months ago, we said this about the 4D chess that Sachs and Nike were playing with the community. The most glowing compliment that I can give these shoes is that they are competent. These competent shoes should be available everywhere, from Foot Locker to Kohl's to WSS to Walmart, and go on clearance the day after they drop because no one would think twice about buying these. But we all know that's not how this game is played. Now, you can buy them at Kohl's, so you're welcome, Tom. I'll expect my check and a pair of GPS sneakers in the mail because I don't think there's a Kohl's near where I live. I'm kidding, of course, except for the check and the sneakers part. But I am very pleased that this is the direction that they are taking with these shoes. Release them in limited quantities to start, but then slowly kill their hype by dropping them at Kohl's and other retailers that stock nothing but GRs. I hope this is just the beginning and we'll actually start seeing more drops in more stores. And even if they become as common as the Monarchs on Mike Tyson's feet, they will always have that cachet of a cool shoe. And for most people, knowing that they can get that cool shoe with zero effort at Kohl's, that's a good deal. It's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like, look, I know I said that I would stop talking about, and we are staying true to that after this Hard Pass. After this segment, we are done talking about Kanye in a non-sneaker capacity. He says something stupid again, he can go kick rocks. He releases a new shoe or slide or boot that people like or not. As long as it's in the footwear arena, we'll talk about it. Everything else, for the most part, exhausting noise. It's dangerous, possibly empowering noise to some of the most garbage people on Twitter, but we're not going to let that crap stand in the way of what we do here on the show. And that's talk about the things we like in a way that hopefully entertains you, sneakers or otherwise. Let the people who are actually in his circle, many of whom we saw in the Genius documentary, handle him. If they really care about their friend, they would tell him to stop. And if he doesn't listen, walk away and stop enabling him. At some point, you have to let go for your own sake. And I feel like that's what we're doing here. So let's do this. Look, put that on the sneaker. What you might be asking? You know which one. It's the slogan you and your friend Candace wore to the fashion show this week. That one that made Jaden Smith walk out of your show. The one that made noted provocateur in his own right, Boosie, to tweet that you should bleach your own skin. The one that had celebrities defending Vogue editor Gabriella Carifa Johnson, who you trashed after she had the audacity to critique that shirt and that slogan. The one that disappointed Wanda Cooper Jones, the mother of Ahmaud Arbery. She released a statement through her lawyer to Rolling Stone that your shirt and the message it sends flies directly in the face of what you had expressed to her family after her 25-year-old son was killed when he went on a jog in Georgia and 3 white neighbors chased him down and shot him in February 2020. We won't even get into the response posted by Tremaine Emory, creative director at Supreme, who disputed your claim that LVMH head Bernard Arnault had a role in the death of your friend Virgil Abloh. He said that he, quote, drew the line at you using Virgil's death in your Ye is the Victim campaign in front of your sycophant peanut algorithm gallery. And this time last year, you said Virgil's designs are a disgrace to the black community in front of all your employees at Yeezy. You're not a victim. You're just an insecure narcissist that's dying for validation from the fashion world. Emory goes on to say that you said all these things and more even when you knew about Virgil's diagnosis. Sure. That's one side, and I'm sure you've already posted and deleted a retort on Instagram. Reportedly, you've already made up with Johnson that will come out as some sort of mini-movie by the guy who directed Moulin Rouge or whatever, but it should be telling that when you do inflammatory stuff like this and you're accused of doing something so hurtful, the reaction of most sane people is, yeah, that sounds like something Kanye would do, because it's all f***ed up. Look, you keep searching for validation and acceptance from a world that humors you 1 minute and clowns you the next at the expense of the goodwill you built up through the years. And considering we're still talking about you, it was a lot of goodwill. But it's not an infinite amount, man, except for one thing. And that's why you won't do it. You can print millions of Gildan quality shirts with that trash ass slogan on it, sell it for $1,000, and your fans and the trolls who are still with you will buy it. I bet a few hundred people will even post with it on social media. And maybe a few dozen will have the balls to wear it outside of a red state. Like, for all the attention that your fashion shows that look like something out of The Last of Us or Fallout, it's not like Yeezy season 1 through 8 has penetrated the mainstream. It's a story for a few days on Hypebeast or Vanity Fair, but then it fades into the same place Bing Bong goes to Inside Out. It's like your old tour merch that had Confederate flags on it or whatever controversial symbol you thought you could co-opt for your profit, neglecting the harm that it might cause on people who are less powerful than you. Just because you say something is over because you want to make money now doesn't make it so. But go ahead and spike the football a year too late declaring that Black Lives Matter is over. I always cared more about the message and sentiment anyways, not the organization that sprung from it. And in the rare instances you realize that you messed up, you quickly pivot to blame both sides, deflect to something unrelated, and claim you were either messing around or going through it. It's the same formula each time, yay? But the volume keeps turning up and it's leading to more people tuning out. I always wondered how loud it would have to be to flip your legendary Grammy speech, and now I guess we know. And now, so a bit of a hard pivot. In a few years, we'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Air Jordan 1. The ones ingrained in the culture. Sneakerheads love the OGs, casuals like whatever colors go with their fit, and vultures think buying a pair lets them into the cool kids club. It's the secret to Michael Jordan's continued relevance in the culture. Without Air Jordans and I guess Space Jam, MJ would just be another basketball legend like Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. He'd be Wayne Gretzky, the undisputed GOAT of his sport, but not really someone we talk about on a daily basis. Tom Brady might be the football GOAT, but he'll learn soon enough that his Brady brand is no match for Jordan brand. Nobody's waking up at 6:55 in the morning to buy some Brady Trainer 1s. But because we get retros dropping every Saturday, the Jordan name keeps popping up, which leads to YouTube deep dives and arguments with LeBron fans and debates on First Take. But the end result is that Jordan's name is in the news, and MJ didn't even have to lift a finger. And that's what you want for your Yeezys. You want people to look at your Louis Vuitton Dons, your Nike Air Yeezy 2s, your Adidas Yeezy Boost 350s, and give them the same reverence that they give to the Bread 1s, the Black Cement 3s, and the Infrared 6s. Why those specifically? Because those are the J's you were pictured wearing the most prior to signing with Adidas, and if you had your way, you would still be wearing them even when you have Yeezys to sell. I'd say have some discipline, but we all know it's a little too late for that. And here's the rub. The Louis Vuitton Dons are too expensive to ever become mass market. Nike could bring back the Yeezys, give them a different name just to spite you, and they would crash the sneakers app. Adidas seems like they'll be just fine releasing 350s and 700s in colorways that you don't approve while you're still under contract. From the luxury to the, well, I was gonna say budget, but are the foam runners the Team Jordans of, anyway, regardless, your sneakers will live on. You won. If you just walked away now, like when Steve Rogers figured out how time works in the MCU, your sneaker legacy would be safe and the royalties would be insane. But do you really want to stand up for what you believe in, whatever that might be at the time you thought of it, and put that slogan on your next shoe? No, because even when your Yeezys have been at their most controversial, you and your partners haven't made a shoe that would turn off a sizable portion of the population. But all it takes is one pair with that message, and the number of 350s you'll see in public will quickly drop in half or worse. Look, there's a cognitive dissonance where people have been able to separate Yeezys from your shenanigans. I'd even bet that there are plenty of people who don't know or care for you, but wear your shoes because they're just there. Just like there are plenty of people who wear Jordans that only know of him from the memes. But you put that slogan on a sneaker or a symbol of hate that you deemed we should get over already on a sneaker, bye-bye Kanye legacy. But hey, you'll have your principles, whatever that might be at the moment. And that's saying something, right? Yeah, I doubt it, man. Co-writer and I will be waiting for Yeezy Season 13 when you co-op Stop Asian Hate for a shirt that has Jackie Chan on the front while standing next to... Let's just bleep that part. I'm not saying that name, co-writer. Anyways, we're done. It's been a hell of a ride, and one that we here at the show will no longer entertain with segments and jokes, unless it's about the business of Yeezy sneakers. Oh, and as of this recording, Adidas is reportedly putting their relationship with you under review after this week of bull. 4D chess. You might get what you want. Maybe you won't have to wait until 2026 for you to put that slogan on a sneaker after all, if that's even on your mind by next week. All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.